I know it's Starbucks, and I don't really go. I've never went to Starbucks. I know a lot of people go to Starbucks for their coffee and lattes and stuff like that. But as you see right here, just like many other companies and jobs, Starbucks basically closed over 450 stores this week. Uh, how many people actually work in Starbucks at a time? Because I know it's like it's a restaurant. Depending on what restaurants you go to, on an average, you might see uh, I say between 5 to 10 workers, maybe. Sometimes, depending on the situation, you might catch it. It might be like 3 people late at night or something. But on average, I would assume it's maybe like 5 to 10 people. So you're talking about a lot of people potentially losing their job. Because if it's 10 people, these 450, that equates like 4,500 people. But I mean, just think of all the other restaurants that could have possibly closed down and stuff like that over multiple times, or they could have closed multiple locations over the times of the last couple years or whatever. But yeah, Starbucks announced a $1 billion restructuring plan that will result in nearly 900 non-retail employees being laid off. Well, about 900, so they about don't have that many people. So okay, at least that's what they say on here. But 909 retail employees being laid off and will close hundreds of its coffee shops across the U.S. The takeaway: over 450 Starbucks locations in the U.S. closed this week, about 1% of its total locations in North America. So that 450, that's only about 1%, 45. So they got arguably around 45 to 50,000 stores or restaurants nationwide. The grab-and-go revolution might be overtaking Starbucks' traditional coffee shop model, from renovated stores with actual seating to baristas writing on cups again. Starbucks is betting on becoming your third place, even as customers increasingly just want their coffee fast. I don't know. It just depends. The jobs is going to continue to be lost. Hopefully this don't affect anybody that y'all know. But I mean, it's going to continue to come. I don't have really too much to really say about Starbucks. I mean, I don't go to Starbucks. I'm not really, I'm not a Starbucks coffee type of person. I don't do any meetings there. I don't do any work there. Like, I don't have no intimate relationship with it and stuff. But yeah, man. But what also happened today, also you have, this government shutdown, basically, because Senate funding bills failed to pass again. Like, I used to be in the military. I went to the military. Good Lord. I went to the National Guard around 2016, and I did like 6 years, and and I mean, it was okay, but I had to get out because after where it wasn't for me. And plus, I never was able to do the job or the MOS that I originally, took my testing and training for, and that was kind of like a bummer for me. But anyway, government shutdown, live updates, Senate funding bills failed to pass again. The United States government shut down early Wednesday morning, setting the stage for the furlough of hundreds of thousands of federal workers and the shuttering of a slew of key programs and services. Let's see what happens here. I'm not trying to read all of this stuff. I just want to see the part where it's talking about like the jobs and stuff like that. What this could mean for the workers and stuff. Because from what I heard, um, I heard a lot of government, workers will potentially be forced to basically work without any pay. All right, so I'm talking with ChatGPT. Uh, don't ever look at ChatGPT for the complete truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Sometimes ChatGPT will give you omitted truths, and you will have to sometimes chastise ChatGPT to make sure that it's giving you the correct information. Um, I use ChatGPT sometimes for like linear answers, but when it comes to more things that's more so regarding like the spiritual aspect or things that are beyond just the physical part of things or the things that we can actually see out here that's on the surface level, you got to start questioning ChatGPT. So never use it as your guide or your guide. But basically, I asked ChatGPT, government shutdown, what does this mean for workers? A government shutdown happens when Congress fails to pass funding bills or the president doesn't sign them. Without approved funding, the federal government has to shut down non-essential operations until an agreement is reached. Here's what it means for workers. One, for the federal employees like TSA and stuff like that, military, essential workers must still work, but without pay during the shutdown. They receive back pay once the government ends. So I guess if you living on the barracks, it might be okay for you because you still get to eat at the DFAC. You get to go to the barracks. You don't have to worry about any unnecessary bills, but you do have to still work for literally no pay until I guess things settle and you got the back end. But if you somebody who go home every day and you got these multiple bills and that you got to pay and you got a car and all that stuff, you might be in a good deal of trouble. At least that's what it's looking like. Now the non-essential workers like the IRS processors, park workers, researchers, administrative are placed on furlough, which means they don't work. And don't get paid during the shutdown, but usually get back pay when funding resumes. So it's about the same thing, but the non-essential workers, it seems like they basically get sent home and don't get any pay until it resumes. But like, do the pay roll over? That's like a big question mark. Do it roll over as they are at home, or do they simply don't get paid at all and then start back getting paid, once the funding resume and stuff like that? That's a question mark. And then you got your government contractors. Most contractors, private workers paid through federal contracts, do not get back pay. If they're furloughed, they lose that income permanently unless their company decides to cover it. So the government contractors are basically in a bad position, very bad position. But yeah, they're gonna make sure that these monetary, these income issues affect everybody across the board. They're gonna keep it coming nonstop. So the everyday impact: delays in services, passport processing, small business loans, housing loans, and some veteran services may slow down. National parks and museums often closed or operate with reduced staff. Social Security, Medicare, and VA health care keep running because they're considered essential. And then you got your military and federal retirees still receive their pensions. Yeah, they should still receive their pensions because they've done the time and all that stuff. There should be things set in place to where they will continue to be appreciated. But yeah, let's see. In short, essential workers work without pay, but get paid later. Non-essential workers stay home, back pay later. Contractors usually no back pay. But yeah, man, I don't know. Hopefully, you people that's in the military can, get through all this. It seems like it's not as bad if you live in the barracks and stuff like that. But yeah, they gonna make sure they touch everybody with these job losses and stuff like that. It's just gonna keep coming. Like, it is what it is. Hopefully you're in the right place, during these times, and if not, you're just gonna have to deal with the repercussions that come with all this, or the consequences. Remember, if the system is only destroyed, or it's like this not because of the people fault, but because of the governments and all that. Like, they've basically allowed all this to happen purposefully, allegedly. They've made all of this happen the way it is happening now for this particular, in this particular reason. You're not to blame. When people were getting loans and credit and stuff like that, a lot of us shouldn't have never been getting it from the beginning. Shouldn't have never been getting it. But they've continued to allow people to get these things. Now they're trying to act like, oh, they got to slow down and they got to stop because, and now it looks like it's the people's fault, like the people did something wrong. But we all know the root issues that's coming behind all of this. Stop looking at the immigrants like they the problem. Stop looking at the left, the far left and the far right like they the problem. No, they're not the issue. The main issue is the main government that people keep voting for. It's kind of like if you like a religious person, right? If you're religious, let's say you're a Christian or whatever, right? They tell you who you should basically look up to, right? Who you should praise, right? But in the end, none of these Christians are really looking up to the Most High that they should be looking up to. Instead, they're looking at Donald Trump. They're looking at Barack Obama. They're looking at Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. They're basically choosing the side that they want to deal with, and they don't realize that none of them are really for you at the end of the day, except, if you're religious, basically. But I don't know. That's all I got with all this. Hopefully nobody's really affected by this. But yeah, man, peace.